you singing Murphy? Yeah, 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 yeah. Mommy said, oh, mommy said, just hanky panky. Okay. There's no one to bully. Let's go with this. Welcome everyone. How was your day? How have you been? How did the weekend go? Where have you kept Murphy? Hmm? How was your weekend? Oh, good. Is there? Okay, I've seen it. Hope it was good. Mine was hectic. So much to do. The little man, look how he's making us. Say hi. Say hello. Mine was so charged up. I had a lot to do this weekend. Sunday, I just finished around 7 p.m. How was yours? How was your day? How was service today? How was the week? Is anybody around? Or has everyone gone to bed? If you don't disturb, okay? Don't disturb, don't disturb. This man is not sleeping. That's why I had to do such lives. That's what you say. This man like this. I'm struggling to get the things done. I don't understand it. How are you feeling? No one in the house. Where has everyone gone to? Let's see. Where is everyone? should come in now. The house is very comfortable. The sofas are so soft. And an interesting program is going on TV. So come, let's watch together. Who is in the house? Who is in the house? You are all welcome. Nobody leave this house. Where all my donkey? Are you guys sleeping today or like tomorrow? Or how? Say something, I'm giving up on this. Yeah. What? What? Say something, I'm giving up on this. Say something, I'm giving up on this. Sorry, I'm hitting the microphone. As I was saying, if you check the description, you will see our topic for today. Movie. So today we'll be talking about early marriage. Early marriage. Yeah, you got me right. Well, baby, please sleep, okay? Please sleep. Good boy. Mom loves you. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, as I said earlier, today we'll be talking about early marriage. That is the causes of early marriage, the consequences, then you have advantages and disadvantages. Sorry. As a union or the bond between two people for which one is either younger than the other or both partners are very young, that is below the age of 18. Below the age of 18. So early marriage in our society is still very um, it's still very common. Yeah, it's still very common, and it's something very controversial. Something very controversial. It affects every society, and there are so many countries still involved in it. So many countries being involved in this early marriage, and it could be because of either beliefs. So those are some of the things that can cause early marriage in an economy or a society. There are some cultures, some religions, some economic, or some because of some political issues. You see, young people tend to get married at a very tender age, at a very young age. So we'll be looking briefly at some causes of early marriage. I have my jotter here. I jotted some points so that I might be glancing through without leaving out anything. So you just permit me do that. Okay. Some people argue that early marriage provides stability, companionship, or social ties. That is, those that are for early marriage, that's those that propagate early marriage as being a good thing, and those on the negative side, they see early marriage as a form of maybe social pressure. Yeah, being caused by social pressure, and it has a great impact on have your education, and then you also have your career. Early marriage has impact on those three aspects. It affects your education. Yeah, we are going to be analyzing those points as we progress. It can also affect your education, and then it can also affect your career and your freedom. It can affect those aspects in your life. So we are going to look at the causes of early marriage to begin with. Okay. So one of the points I jotted here is cultural traditions and societal expectations. So many people get married at an early age, that is below 18, because of cultural traditions. Okay, there are some traditions that propagate that. There are some traditions that advocate early marriage. So if a girl is already 18 and not married, they see it as a taboo, as something abnormal. Even if the person is schooling, and most often it is a girl child. So in this situation today, I'll mostly focus on the girl child, that is the female gender. So even if the person is going to school, at that age, it's like you are supposed to get married, and then in your marriage you continue your education or you foster your career. There are so many traditions or cultural traditions that propagate that. For example, here in Cameroon, I'm here in Cameroon, we mostly have the northern section of the country. We have the far north, North Damawa, those regions. It is, I can say it is even now that some of those girls attain a certain level of education before they think about marriage. But before then, the the culture of that area is at the age of 12 to 8, the girl child is already married. So that was it. So it was seen like something, like a pride if your child is already married at that tender age. In fact, a woman starts menstruating, that is, seeing her menstrual, her monthly period, the child, they say that she's already ripe and ready for marriage because she can't foster children. You want to see? Mm, because she can foster children, she can give birth already, so she's already a mother. And then at that tender age, most often in the house, the mother starts training her on how to cook, how to clean, how to wash, so that when she goes to her husband's house, she will carry out all of those functions without any difficulty. So that was the culture there. And most often, you see this girl child not getting married to someone of maybe her age, or someone maybe at the youth, let's say the early, maybe the early 20s or late 20s. No, most often the age of the husband is far beyond hers. Maybe you can see it can be twice or thrice. The person most often is 50 and above. Yeah. So the young men were hardly into such things. They were mostly focused on their farming, cattle rearing, and the rest, all their businesses. Most often those girls, fewer were the ones who got married to young men. Most of them got married but to aged men. Yeah, aged men. There was this belief, or there is this belief, I don't know if it's still up to now, that when a man is already old, let's say from 50 or 55 and above, who has going to bed, from 50 or 55 and above, that his, how can I say, that his sexual organ is no more stimulated by his wives, because most often his wives are almost the same age as him at that point. So they will give him maybe a little girl of about maybe 16, 14, 16 years. Yeah. So she can stimulate him. That when he sees a younger blood, or he feels a younger blood, he mostly gets stimulated, and then he expands his life. That's the belief. Yeah, the belief. So when and polygamy there is a norm. Yeah, it is a norm. It is not something outrageous or a taboo. It is a norm there. Polygamy is the norm. A man can have, you see a man having 4 or 5 wives. Yeah. Even those who come down this way and get married is the same thing. They can have as many wives as possible. There is no restriction. So at that later age, that that girl child is given to him or married to him in order to extend his lifespan. That's the belief. Since she is young, just a touch, just of him feeling a touch from her, he gets excited, he gets stimulated. So, and that alone expands his life. Okay, so that is the belief. That's why most often you see men of 50 and above getting married to girls of 14, 16, 18, far younger than them, far younger than them. That was the belief. And then concerning societal expectation, as I said earlier, it was like a pride for most families that your child gets married before the age of 18. It means you are blessed, your family is blessed for a man finding a wife into your home. Let's say, yeah, I should very call it, finding a beautiful flower in your home to get entangled with. So the society was expecting that from each family. Yeah. And then we have another aspect, poverty and economic insecurity. I would say the greatest part of, or the biggest, the greatest cause of early marriage is poverty. Poverty is a very bad thing. This poverty is a disgrace. Poverty is everything in itself and out of itself, honestly. Poverty can frustrate you. Poverty can kill you. Poverty can derail you. Poverty can, you name the rest. So poverty is very bad. Even the Bible itself condemns poverty. Even the Bible condemns poverty. Mm-hmm. Because when a man is poor, the man becomes very angry, just angry at everything, at life, at himself, at everyone. So poverty is a very dangerous thing, a very bad thing. Ah, so most of the causes of early marriage is poverty, you know. So it is poverty because a family is in deep poverty, if I can say so, or highly impoverished, if that word exists, I'm sure. So they will see giving out their child as a means of having some, let me call it a little stipend, call it a stipend, not money, because it will not make them rich. It will just some little money to sustain them at a certain level. And then if the man getting married to a daughter is that generous, he can even extend it to as many years as possible. But if not, it's just a sustainable income. Mm-hmm. So many families give out their children because of poverty. Yeah, the family is large because most of the families are polygamous. It is very large. It's not easy to take care of the wives, take care of the children. So they'll prefer, I'll use the word dash out. They'll prefer to dash out or dish out their child to maybe the man may not be wealthy as well as he may be wealthy. In the case where the man is not wealthy, it's just a way of saying, oh, let me take this load off my shoulders. So giving out the child is like taking off one one 1%, should I put it like that, or 10%, taking out away 10% of responsibility from your shoulders. Yeah, and then at times you don't even care if the child is well treated, because in most cases you see the child is maltreated because they'll say, ah, your father just gave us to us because of poverty, so they know you are poor, so they'll use it against you. Yeah, they'll use it as a weak point against you. Excuse me. So in the case where the man is rich, most often they do it for the money. That one I would say selling off. Yes, tell me selling off, meaning the family sells off the child for money. Mm-hmm. For money. So they know with giving out the child to that rich person will kind of like enrich them, or at least make them have money for some time to sustain them for a little time or some moment. So they will give out their child or sell out their child for that purpose, for the funds, for the money. And then we have gender inequality and parental pressure. Another cause for early marriage is gender inequality and parental pressure. You know, it's not in all the cases that the parents are the ones giving out the children for marriage. I tell the children themselves they decide. Hmm? In this case of gender inequality, it's when, as I said, in the northern part, most often the girl child was not considered as, if I say human being, I'll be outrageous. I'll be gross. Let me say, was not considered befitting. Let me say like that. enough to be given some kind of um can I say upliftment in the family or in the house. The girl child was always in the dark. Mm-hmm. I would say so, in the dark, whereby it is the boy child that was being trained to do maybe business, to school, and the rest. So they see the girl child as being as a lower or an inferior person, an inferior being to the male child. So because of this, they say no to the girl child, they cannot measure up to the man. And so most often that's why she was being laid off at that tender age for marriage. And then the boy child stays with the father to learn maybe the family business or the farming, whatever sort of farming they were carrying out. And mostly it was mostly livestock farming. Yeah, livestock. So we have a gender inequality and then parental pressure. For parental pressure, I passed through that. Yeah, if I can quite recall. I have a cousin of mine who got married at the age of 20. And so all the time in the house, my dad will always say, what are people doing in my house? Hmm? Because we grew up in a family of girls, I don't mean we're just one boy. What are people doing in my house? Hmm? Eating my food. That is your junior sister there who got married at the age of 20 and she's fine in her husband's house. What are people waiting for? You're already above 20. By then, I think I was 20, was 22 or 23, something like that. God was saying those things. I gave a deaf ear. I said, come and carry me and send me out. I'm in my father's house. You go to your father's house. Hey. So also my father will be singing every day. And that my cousin, she got married to a very wealthy man, yeah, and he took good care of her. She was favored, I'll not use the word lucky because for me, being a Christian, luck is not, it's inappropriate. I would say favor. She was favored that she found a good husband. She found a good husband. Our baby is sleeping. Our baby has slept. Oh. Good night. Oh. Married, so there is no need to washing. I will definitely get married. So, Abba, just allow me. I'm in my father's house. If you're tired of me, you go to your own father's house. That's what I always say. Another cause of early marriage, we have religious or community beliefs. Yeah, there's some religious beliefs that for some religions, they believe that a woman is supposed to get married at an early age. Some other also say men are supposed to get married at an early age. But for the woman, it is mostly before that age of 18. Whereas for the man, most often, if you see a man getting married at an early age, most often is from 18 and above. 18 and above. Yeah, but for the woman, it is mostly below. So for that religion, immediately as we are only of age, they can put it between maybe 14 to 18 or 16 to 18, those 3 years, 16, 17, and 18. We are only of that age, they start checking. Or even before then, they've already maybe like two families, they can have an agreement whereby if they are friends, they are good friends, and they know that this family has a good background, the children are well brought up, they can do an arrangement marriage. What we see in movies, right? Where we say, when you were little, you were already entitled to get married to this person when you grow up, and so on and so forth. Even if the feeling is not there, and in most cases, the feeling is not there, the love is not there. It can be that if you see when the love is there, is maybe they grew up together, in that childhood they grew up together, so that's used to each other. Yeah, they can have that love, they can have that feeling. But in the case where they were betrothed to each other, betrothed or betrothed, English is hard though. Yeah, in the case where they were betrothed to each other and then maybe they lived apart, to see them coming together because of love or because they have mutual feeling is difficult. At that moment now, it is just like they are just respecting the fact that an agreement was made. An agreement was made. So they just accept the agreement. They do it because of the agreement, not because of love. That's it. So we also have lack of access to education and awareness. Yep. Lack of education, access to education and awareness. Most parents in those days and even now, most of them are not aware that giving out a child at that tender age is destructive, both to them and both to the child and to the society or community at large. Yeah. And then the child too at times lacks that awareness to that what I am going to. Am I psychologically prepared? Am I emotionally prepared? Am I physically prepared? Although in most cases the child has no say. Yes, in most cases the child has no say. But let's talk about the case where the child decides, it is she who decides to get married at that tender age. At times you can see she is going in not because she has the full knowledge of what marriage is, or she has the full knowledge of what she is going into, but because she is not aware of what she is going, the adventure she is going into, she is not prepared. She might be saying maybe it can be because of a peer pressure or because of what she is seeing in the society, in the movies. She wants to try it and see how it is, or maybe it can be like we saw before, poverty. So she's not aware that marriage entails a lot. It is a school that never ends. It is sacrifice. It is how can I say, tolerance. It is patience. In fact, all the fruits of the spirit, you have them in marriage. So a child might not be fully prepared or aware of that and then just dives in like that just for maybe sustainability, if I can put it that way, if it's the case of poverty or in the case of maybe of societal concern. She also wants to show off that, oh, I am married, maybe to the friends or to, yes, to her peers and the rest. They kind of like show off that, do you think you're the only one who can get married? I too can get married. So some of them do it without being aware. And then for those that it is the parents are not, they just know that marriage is just two people coming together, giving birth, and that is it. Yes, and that is it. That is what they see, or that is their take concerning marriage. They in their own days, it is very different from what we are experiencing today. Very different. Today with the hardship, with the ecosystem changing every day. With, in fact, there are so many things that have been transformed, so many things that have mutated, so many things that have changed. So it is not the same like you just give birth, you have your large farm, you just harvest food, you can feed the children, if you don't go to school. As I said before, then most often the girl child was left behind. She was looked upon like a minority or a minor human being. So there was no schooling for her. She just grows up like that and knows that, okay, when I reach 12, if I start menstruating, or then it means very soon I'll be off. So, and I even think, if I can even think in the place of those girls right now in my heart, I am so sure many of them were praying and begging God that they shouldn't be menstruating before 12 or before, before 18. I am very sure of that. Most of them were praying that she won't come at the age of maybe 20 even, or more than 20, 20 and above, so that they will get married at a later age. That is my own thought to me. That's what I am thinking. So those are some of the causes of early marriage. And then if we can move to the consequences. The consequences of early marriage. The impact on education and career opportunities. You see, early marriage has great impact on education and the career of the person involved or the persons involved. As I said in the beginning, it might be one of the couple who is younger, or both are young. So, and I specify that in this case I'll be talking with regards to the girl child, the female gender. Most often you see a man will get married to a girl and he will say, where did she end? She ended at this section. Okay, at primary 2, primary 3, or whatsoever. No, there's no problem. When I get married to her, she will continue with her education. I will continue sponsoring her. That's what so many of these men say. But finally, when they get married and the woman starts giving birth, especially if she's not strong enough and if she's not determined, you will see that she might not be able to foster her education. That will be the end of her. I recall when my husband came to marry, my mom said, no, she's not yet ready. But that's deep in me. That time I was at the university. Deep in me, I wanted it to. But she said, no, my daughter is not yet ready. And she will come behind, she will pull my ears and say, listen, a woman's first husband is her job. A woman's first husband is her job. So don't get married without you having something doing. No, it is not good. Then me, I'll be like, what did this woman even say? She got married when she did not have anything doing. It's in her husband's house that she came and developed her own career. And then how can she be telling me this? I said, anyway, let me just obey. As the Bible says, obey your parents so that your days on earth will be long. So let me just obey. That's how I waited until I finished school, got job. That's when I got married. That's why at this my age, my children are still in kindergarten. Well, that's my age mate. That children are only moving to high school. Anyway, life is not how fast, but how far. Don't compare in life. Just as each and everyone has his own time on the clock. So that was my own time. So many children at that age, they stop education just because they got married. At times it is not even them. The man is willing and volunteering for them to continue, but the real power is not there. You understand? The real power is not there. You see, they're already like, for them they think marriage is an achievement. They are already like, this network wants to start again. Oh God, please. As I was saying, especially if the man has money, they'll be like, why am I getting a certificate for? He has money, and with money I can have whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. So why am I still bothering or beating myself? And for men who want their women to be like knowledgeable enough, okay, especially the men who have kind of positions, they must force their wives to go to school because they want to be well represented in the society. They don't want a situation whereby their wives will be behaving like people who have never seen the door of a classroom, or the four corners of a classroom. So most of them will force them, even if it means hiring a home-based teacher or tutor. but their wife, they'll do that so that she'll be up to standard, or as I can say, up to their level. So some men, if their wives are reluctant, that is what they will do. That's what they will do. So these are some of the consequences of early marriage. We have health risks, including early pregnancies and complications. There is a story that a friend once told us. He lived in the north, he was working there, and then he came down this way and he recounted this story, saying that there was a girl, she was just 12 years old, yeah, and she was betrothed to a man of, was it 58? Something of 58 years old. He was 58 years old and she was 12 years old. You can see the age disparity. And the primary factor was poverty. That the family was deeply, when we say heavily indebted poor countries, that their home was a heavily indebted poor home, if I can say that. Their own poverty has no definition. Am I being gross? So that was what he said. So she was giving out to this man. Then the funniest thing there is the man would beat her up, torment her, and then the man wanted intimacy with her like morning, afternoon, evening. She will cry, run to her parents and say no, she is suffering, the man is beating her. They will send her back, that is your husband, go and manage your home. Then I was asking, even if the father does that, the mother too will do such a thing. You see, the mother was with the corner of the mother, she could not say anything, so whatever the husband said, that was what was to be done. And even at the point where she got pregnant, it was the same treatment that the man was giving to her, maltreating her seriously. That there were times she wouldn't go for 2 days without eating in her pregnancy. She wasn't attending antenatal. She was just like very loose in the house, very loose. And so she got infected. When she got infections, we don't know if it is from the man or from whosoever or from whatsoever. She got infected and then she needed treatment badly. But the man not succumb to that. The man just said she's pretending because she wants to go out, because she was not also allowed to go out. She was like a prisoner. Do you understand? When they told me the story, I just recalled of the days, the slave trade periods, like others, how slaves were being treated. So if they die, it's like nothing happened, since they can be easily replaced. So I was asking myself, if this man did not love this child, why would he go and get married to someone's daughter and then maltreat her this way? A 12-year-old child that was supposed to be petted like egg, was supposed to be proud of his wife, very young, but the contrary, maltreating her, beating her. As she got infected, there was a neighbor one day when the man went to his business place. There was a neighbor who sneaked her out of the house and took her, not even to the hospital, to a pharmacist in the quarter. And the pharmacist said there was nothing he could do because she has to be tested. She has to do some tests so they will easily know, or you'll better know what is wrong with her. So that was how she was taken to the hospital. And the doctor, they said no money, no treatment. But the neighbor that did everything for her, everything. And unfortunately, she was told that the pregnancy cannot continue, that it has to be terminated, because if not, her womb will be destroyed. So when they came back, and she cannot do that without the consentment of her husband, even the hospital cannot do that. She told the husband first of all asked, how come? Who asked you to leave the house? What did you go to do there? Blah 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 blah. This is what we are going until you go and team up in the hospital. This is a setup, blah blah blah, to extort money from me. So that was what the man said, blah 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 blah. And finally, she didn't go to the hospital. After her, she stayed in the house with that infection and that pregnancy. She stayed with the infection and pregnancy. And obviously, one day the man came back from work. He just saw blood at the door. Before you enter the house, maybe at the stair, it was really dripping down. So when he saw it, he got scared. He pushed the door. He entered. She was laying on the floor in a pool of blood, unconscious. They rushed her to the hospital. That's when they had to give her is it glucose? Yeah, for her to regain strength, regain consciousness, and then they took her to the theater immediately for an operation. Then the child was taken out, partly decomposed already, part of her womb being damaged already. There was nothing to be done. So when they were done, they brought her back to the hospital. That she cried. She spent about 2 weeks in the hospital for proper treatment and all the like. The day she was supposed to be discharged, like for example, she was supposed to be discharged tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday. Today, Sunday's night, they say she ran away from the hospital. Yeah, because she knows that if they discharge her, she'll go back to her husband's place, and she never wanted to be there. So she ran from the hospital that night, the previous day's night, and in the morning she was nowhere to be found. That was how she liberated herself from the man, and the story just ended like that, because they don't know where she went to. She never went back to her house because she knows it will be the same scenario. So she didn't go back to their house. She didn't know where she went to. And the man that came back to the father was asking a refund of the bride price. And then the man also said that if you want your bride price, then refund my daughter. I said the father was even lenient, because if I'm the one, I will lock you up, because I gave you my daughter, and now my daughter is nowhere to be found. You are the first suspect. Yeah, you are the first. So the case just ended like that. That's how it just ended. So you see that when you get married at an early age, without being educated, without being aware of certain things, there are so many complications that can come into play. So many. Your health is at risk. Everything is at risk. So we also have emotional and psychological effects. This one plenty. This one is too much. It's early marriage, that's true. You can easily have an emotional or a psychological problem, especially if you are not prepared. That's why they say before going into marriage, you have to be what? Psychologically prepared. You should not follow trends, or you should not do as your peers are doing, or you should not be because they have said, your parents say go and get married. You say okay, you want to prove a point, and then you go and do it. No. You have to be psychologically prepared. Marriage is not for the weak. Just as YouTube is not for the weak. Marriage hard though. Well. So tough. Then we are still there. As they say, those inside want to go out, and those who are outside still want to come in. So it is something, I will not say it's a mystery, it's not mysterious. It's something kind of like those literature terms, those who did literature. People can help me here. Is it a metaphor, or it is literature to know easy? An allegory? Hey, what is it called? So marriage is not that easy. You don't do marriage to improve a point. You don't do marriage to be self-sufficient. You don't do marriage maybe to satisfy your parents. You don't do marriage because it's a trend. No. You do marriage because you have the full understanding of what it is. You may not have the full understanding because, as I said, marriage is a school. Every blessed day we learn new things. Every blessed day. So you should be aware, or at least of what you are going into. You should be aware of what marriage is all about before you step your toes. Hmm? Before you stretch your neck to kiss, or for better for worse. Because so many people don't understand this better for worse issue. Many people know that when they say for better is when things are sweet or when there is money, and then for worse is when there is no money. That worse is not only when there's no money. Challenges, that's what we call for worse. When challenges set up, will you leave? Will you stay? Should I leave? Should I stay? Should I come back another day? So which one? So when the challenges set in, will you leave? Will you stay? Or will you just be in between? Just confused. So that is what we call for worse. Okay? And for better is when, of course, things are smooth, people are smooth, people are fine, everything is moving for the better or for the best. And there is no wahala, everything is just rosy and sweet, everything. That's for the good or for the better. So most often we have the responsibility as parents to educate our children. Yeah, we have to educate our children about certain aspects of marriage before they go into it. That they will not read and then they don't found it, or they said, no, this is not what I saw with my own parents, so I am going back. This is like hell, although they have never been to hell before. They say, this is hell, I cannot be here. So I really doubt how those who usually say, this is hell, I cannot be here, go to hell. I don't know if they've ever gone to hell, they know how hell is before they are spewing out that. So you have to educate them about what marriage is all about. First of all, have the pre-knowledge, then they have the global knowledge, and then they want that they learn by themselves. Learn by themselves. And most often they say, if we want our children to have a better marriage, you as a parent should live as an example. You should have a better marriage yourself, so your children will copy. Your boy child will copy what the father is doing. He say, no, when my dad comes back from work, what does he do? What does he not do? Is this good? Is this not good? So that when he gets married tomorrow, from all, if all the parents behave like this, to be honest, only about maybe 1% of the children will derail or behave funnily or abstract from what their parents, from their parents. But most often they would like to copy their parents. Say, no, I love the way dad behaves when he comes back from work or when he's in the house. I like the way he treats us, he treats mommy. I love the way mommy, blah 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 blah. So when they grow up now with that mentality, they'll form or they'll have better homes. They'll have better homes. So you have to be emotionally and psychologically prepared that what I am going into is what I want. And no matter what I meet, no matter the outcome, I am going to tolerate, I'm going to be patient, I'm going to pray about it for God to see us through. But there are some certain aspects that when you deal to that, you can no more tolerate to. That's why you have to what? Run. Run, oh. Run without even looking behind. Mm. Mm. We also have family and societal implications. So how the consequences. The family and societal implications. It can result to death, yeah. In the case of this little girl, I can say it is God who saved her. If not, she would have died. Yeah, she would have died, and the father will have will have lost a child. Mm-hmm. Then will have lost a child. The husband will have lost a wife, two losses. Not only two, the mother too must have lost a child. Then the siblings will have lost a sister. Can you imagine? Not to extend to the extended family. So it has so many implications in the family and in the society. Mm-hmm. Mm. And then four, we move to the advantages. These advantages are for those who advocate who advocate that early marriage is a good thing. Those who think that is a good thing. That's what they say. They say that early marriage provides companionship and emotional security. Companionship and emotional security. Wow. It is true. If you look at it from this angle that I'm looking at like this, you see it is true. Very true. Most often you see some people get married because they are lonely. They want a partner. They want someone they can be talking with. They can be gisting with. They can be working with. They can do groceries with. Not because they really want to get married. Because of loneliness. So they want companionship. They want someone that can maybe listen to them. Someone can tell them welcome when they come back from work. Someone can say how did you sleep. Someone that's just for the companionship. So many people get married. And that is true. That is true. It's not something that we doubt. It's what is happening in our society today. And then for the emotional security part, most of them is these children, they are still young. If I get married to her before she wants eyes want to clear, the skills want to follow, or she wants to be indoctrinated by maybe the things of life or some other friends or the society, at least she must have given me my children and the rest. Must have given my children and the rest. So at that point now, at least the man feels that even if he disappears, I have my children to console myself with. That's emotional security. You can add though, this one I'm talking here alone. People can add this one that people come online and then you don't tap, you don't like, you don't answer question, you don't participate in the pool. What is happening? You also have may reduce certain social problems like premarital relationship. Oh yeah, that's correct. That's a good one. I buy this idea. In some societies, there are some societies that they forbid courtship, especially in the Arab societies, if I'm not mistaken. Courtship is forbidden. You just go like that, you reach your age, one fine man just locate one fine girl somewhere and says, baby, I love you, can we get married? And it happens. That's how marriages are being done in such societies. Or maybe they, as I said before, you were betrothed, you betrothed or betrothed, you can search it. You were betrothed to someone, and then people grow up, and this thing mostly happen with people in rich families, so that the riches will continue within them. They don't want an aspect where their daughter will get married to a poor person, a pauper. Then the man now is going to drain her of her money, and the family, instead of the money increasing, is instead reducing. So you see, this arrangement marriage like this is mostly done with the people of the high class, if I can put it like that, the upper class, the rich. In finance, when I talk about which, I mean in wealth, in finance, in cash, in money. So it is mostly done with them. So they forbid courtship because they know courtship can learn into something, and it is an abomination for a woman in such societies to get pregnant without being married. Even in many churches, although there are end time churches now who advocate for fornication, I was watching, I cannot recall, I was watching one channel like that. One, I don't know if it was a preacher or a prophet, I've forgotten. And the man was advocating for premarital sex. He was saying that how can you get married to a woman without testing her? And how can a woman get married to a man without testing him? What if he does not function the way he likes, she likes, or she does not function the way he wants? What if his manhood is not all those kind of things? You understand? And I was like, for real? For real? That's end time gospel, man. Yeah, that's end time gospel. How can you be preaching such? Or let's say teaching. I don't know if he's a preacher, teacher, prophet, or whatsoever. I've forgotten the name. And the way I just zapped and I passed, I said, no. Why is he indoctrinating these people with such an idea? He is promoting fornication, which is a very bad thing. It's a sin. It's a sin. Yeah, it's a sin. So as we were saying, in these societies, this is the best practice ever. So that instead of these young girls and boys getting themselves entangled in sexual abuses and the rest, they prefer that they get married at that tender age so that you escape from this sin. You escape from it and be happy. And most of those early marriages have lasted. When I used to watch one program at the TFI, you see where it's doing mariage for bringing the male. You see young people, 18, 19, 20 who are married. You even see 17, yeah, 17 who are married already. And then you see some already very old and they give their testimonies that they got married at a very tender age when they were still in college. That's when they got married. And most often it's because they get pregnant and then they have been forced not to get married. I say in most cases, not in all cases. And so they get married together at that tender age. Most of them work till the old age, but some don't because the foundation isn't there. The foundation isn't there. So you see so many societies in some communities, this early marriage is done in order to eradicate the problem of premarital relationship which might lead to fornication and some kind of funny behaviors. And then looking at the disadvantages, those who say that early marriage is not good. For those advocating that early marriage is not good, they say there is loss of personal freedom and choice. That is true. There is loss of personal freedom and choice. Before going into the marriage, in most cases, your opinion is not being asked. You are just being given away, sold out, dashed out, or whatsoever, depending on the circumstances you were giving up. So you have no freedom. Where is this man going to? So you have no freedom. And you don't have a choice either. Even when you go into the man's house, you're not being treated the way you're supposed to be treated because it's like you don't have a say. You are there like a housemate. if I can put it like that. Maybe the person needed a mate in the house to talk, exchange words, and then they brought you in. Like a house, you say you're a housemate to your husband. You have no say, he's the one taking all the decisions, he's the one doing everything in the house, and then you're just there to listen, and then whatsoever comes, you are there. So you're not free, you don't have freedom, it's like your cage. So, and once that happens, you see your mental health is being affected. It affects your mental health. So early marriage is not good for this purpose. We also have high rate of domestic violence and abuse. We talked about this. We're talking about the consequences. Yeah, the domestic violence when you say this early marriage are just too much. Since the girl child is just that small and then young, the man can just molest, toast her at will. He does not care. Those are for men who are, I would call them barbaric in quotes. And they don't care, they don't have feeling for mere human being. You know, I would say that before my baby lands on the floor, they don't have feeling for their mere human being. They maltreat. They maltreat. Or usually maltreat their wives in a kind of violent way. Hmm? Violent way, they abuse them in all sorts of manner possible. All sorts of manner possible. And in these are countries where human rights is just a song. Human rights is just a song. Oh. It's not like something that it's really, let me say, 100% into place. At times, you may report the case if the person has more worth, can buy it off. Yeah, exactly. It's not always easy. The domestic violence is too much. It could be beating, it could be starving, it could be it could be work overload, it could be so many things, so many things. So early marriage is kind of dangerous given our disadvantages. We also have another point: interrupted education and limited career opportunities. When you get married at an early age, your education might get interrupted. It's not 100%. I said might, as I said earlier. Some people go back to school, some just remain dormant and say, no, I have achieved it. I have gotten married, that was what I wanted, and that is all. They don't care at all. They don't care at all. Limited career, so their careers are being, let me say, shattered. Especially someone who dreamt of becoming maybe someone, how can I put it? Because we all have dreams, we all aspire for something great, and so on. And then you get married at that age, or they get too married at that age. For real, if the man is not career orientated or life literate, how can I put it? That is how your own will just end. Housewife, professional housewife, that even common business door market, I can even fry cannot put garlic, sugar, or whatsoever. She will not be able to do. You won't. Then we have poverty cycle continuation. Early marriage can lead to the continuation of poverty cycle 100%. 100%. Especially if you are getting married to someone who does not have shishi. And so poverty follow you come your parents' house, poverty follow you go to your husband's house. And if care is not taken, poverty may follow you to the grave. Hey, so I reject it in the mighty name of Jesus. I shall work hard, so that the Lord will set my table in front of my enemies. They will watch me with amazement. Mm-mm. Oh yeah. Mm-mm. Oh yeah. So when a girl is being given out by a family that is poor, and maybe the man too is poor, the husband, so the poverty cycle is just rotating around them, moving around them. You can see a case where the man is rich but stingy. Hey, Japanese handbrake. No shaking, nothing, nothing. The man is extremely stingy. Mm-hmm. Very stingy. So he won't want a dime to leave his house to the in-laws place. If they want to talk, he say, I paid your bike price. You know how much I paid just for your bike price? If you know that you've been in my house, you can even work for 10 years for me, you will be able to. At times it's like you're talking to your maid, maid. So the poverty cycle might just continue like that due to the person you marry, the person you marry. Very dangerous. Some God say, no, maybe advise me well, I get my job before I marry. Marry if you finish today, tomorrow, after tomorrow, or even yesterday, say, maybe if you finish yesterday or 2 days ago. But God still kept you put together and then still kept your job. Mm-mm. You also have long-term health and psychological issues. Long-term health and psychological issues. If you are not careful, you go into early marriage. Your mentor with chakra will become like, especially if you're not well treated. You say like, what did I go wrong? What did I do? Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. And it is eating me up, eating me up. You don't even know what is eating and killing you by big rush deserve marriage. So many women have decided to shut their mouth and not to talk, giving the men upper hand over them again and again and again. Whereas there are simply methods that you can just apply. So that at least your mental will be okay. So no matter what they take, at least your number 6 will still be working perfectly in all situations, which will help you greatly. So looking at the advantages, looking at the disadvantages of early marriage. When we're in secondary school, they used to say when you have, for example, something like a debate, because this topic is a debateful topic, they will say those whose points are more than the points of the others, they are the ones who have won, because they're the ones who have made the point or who have explicitly explained the subject matter. So if we go back to by that, if we go back by that grading in our secondary school days, it means what? The advantages outweigh the disadvantages. We have just about 2 disadvantages. Yeah. Sorry. You see that, yeah, the advantages outweigh the advantages. We have advantages about 2, and the disadvantages about 6. In this case now it is reversed. It is a reversed because the subject matter is consider it to be a bad thing because the disadvantages are just so many than the advantages. If the topic were to be changed, then you start really advantages will be more than disadvantages. So if we have to look at both aspects, you will see that there are so many disadvantages, meaning that Early marriage should not be regarded, no matter what, no matter what you're facing, like the money, someone somewhere waiting just for you to open your mouth for you to say a word and you will be blessed. Yeah, truly, truly. So you see that the disadvantages outweigh advantages, mean that early marriage is not a good thing. That's something you can tell you. Before you get married, prepare yourself, physically, emotionally, and even maybe economically, in this aspect of finance or job, as my mother put it, economically. You should be ready, you're ready to face whatsoever challenge or battle that will come your way. You should be ready to do that. If not, eh? So early marriage is not a good thing, given the fact that it has so many disadvantages. Anyway, it also depends on each and every country, the policies, the method. That some people are married into 3, 4 wives, but they live happily and the rest. So it depends on the society. For the polygamy, for me, it no goes on no goes on no. Alright, so what can be done to ameliorate this situation? What can be done to reduce the rate of early marriage in our society, because it's still very rampant, And the first one is education. We need to educate the girl child. We need to educate the parents, to educate them well, even without not just with the girl child, but even the boy child. At this point, all of them are supposed to know that, okay, do like this. If a man does this, it is wrong. If a woman does this, it is wrong. So they have to come to a consensus. Both parents, that they have to educate their children. Also, we have awareness campaigns. There are more campaigns should be done, should be carried out, and not just in cities, in rural areas as well, in the suburbs. Even radio, TV, all those things. Social media is making so easy now that online you can get whatsoever. So you can easily create awareness through newspapers, radios, televisions, or even another person's personal life, what happened then, or whatsoever. There are so many ways you can create awareness about this early marriage phenomenon. We also have empowerment of girls. Oh yeah. And how can you empower the girl child? By sending her to school, by teaching her basic life hacks, by being with the child, monitoring and observing. In fact, teaching the child that marriage is not an accomplishment. It is not an accomplishment, because anyone can get married. Some people can even pay to get married, so it's not an achievement. It isn't. But you should know that it is a blessing, it is divine, and she should know why she is getting married. We also have poverty reduction. If there are ways, we've seen programs that have been forwarded just to alleviate the percentage of poverty in Cameroon. It's too much already. Too much. Poverty is too much. It's too much. Too much. Too much. If I can say so. So we can maybe create centers like they create women centers where girls can be educated. Those who maybe left school halfway and then are into trades or some handwork, they can go there to perfectionalize whatever they were learning. There was it cooking, was it tailoring, was it soap making. There's so many aspects there. The women said, yeah, these girl children really work. We thank the minister for that. So these are some of the possible recommendations how to reduce the prevalence of early marriage. If you have other points, feel free to add them in the comment section. I definitely add them for reviews. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to do add, and then come for reviews. Oh my god, feeling sleepy. Feeling sleepy. Sleepy afternoon and we have a hectic day. So, but now, most often in our context, in this modern world, you see these young girls getting married to old men not because they want to, but because of the money. And there is conception that when the man is already at 55, 60, you get married to him at the age of 15. You don't know how long he's going to use money. When people know that at a certain age he's going to die, then the girl is going to inherit the property. So that's why most Philippines today get married at a tender age because they want to slay into marriage, into wealth, into finance. And most often these men nowadays they are taking an injection that they will not die as soon as possible again. Mm-hmm. They will live to 100 years, even 120 if possible. By the time she's already maybe 50 or 60, and where will she be going like that? Missing him that time. Where will she be free? Oh yeah. So you see some young girls get married because of all the finance. All the finance. Oh my people. Sleep is the name is shaggy. Shaggy, shaggy. Shaggy, shaggy. Shaggy. Alright, that's what I had for us today. Great minds. I hope you loved it. Backstage, it was anyone. Fun days, just two people. I hope you loved it. And then we'll continue tomorrow. Very soon we have school. I don't know if I'll be able to do that Monday and Tuesday as from the Zoom chat. Okay, people. Sleep is waxing. I don't even know what I'm saying again. I'll only listen to it later on. So, do you think early marriage is a good thing or not? For those watching the after effects, please do comment, do like, do subscribe, do share. In order to promote my channel. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being there. Thank you for just behaving, comporting as if I was the only person in the room. Thank you, Lord Jesus. I bless your holy name, Daddy. Help me to go through this night without any issues, questions, Lord. Your light will shine, O King of glory, upon all your children, that forceful early marriage will not be their portion in the mighty name of Jesus, Father. I also pray, O King of glory, that all those who are being forced into marriage, Father, grant them the strength to be able to return it in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, we say thank you. We give you all the glory because you are Jehovah over. You never say a word without worrying. And how, oh God, we plead that it should be in the mighty name of Jesus. Okay, guys, sleep is carrying you. How long did I sleep? Alright, thank you. Be waiting for your comments for those watching later. And for those who are on board, we are not taking part. If I may ask why? Is there anything wrong with that? Okay. Good night, my people. God bless you. And thank you for sticking by backstage. I know you are there. We praise God for you. Have a glorious night and a gracious one to the entire family. Remain blessed.